Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from The Pint. My name is John.
My name is Lloyd.
I'm Mike. I'm also Mike.
And we're here at the butt end of the year to talk all about Christmas and holiday movies. We've never done this before. I think we did Die Hard for
We did Christmas songs one year.
Did we?
Many years ago.
And we did Die Hard one year as kind of like
Correct,
okay, this is the stereotypical white guy podcast thing. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not?
You should do Die Hard 2 as well.
We were going to, and I think we'll save that for next year. I think that'll be next year.
A Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Here's your fucking landing lights.
Yeah, no.
I feel like Die Hard. I feel like Die Hard, whether you think it's a Christmas movie or not, has kind of morphed into one, right? Like we've made it into one.
Is it Lethal Weapon too?
Yeah, Weapon's a Christmas movie. Yep.
See, I get irritated.
Yeah. It ends with a Christmas song.
Yeah, it begins with a Christmas song.
Kiss, kiss,
this
bang,
is
bang.
also true.
Yeah,
it's Christmas.
Lethal Weapon always pisses me off because nobody ever mentions that one, but they mention Die Hard all the time. We talked about the Die Hard episode. It's like that was a year before.
Yeah, use the same music too.
Same music. Yeah. But we're going to be talking about our three favorite Christmas films. Holiday films, however you want to put it, something that has to do with this time of year. We're going to go 3, 2, and then 1, and normal pint rules apply. 3 and 2, whatever, they could be in a an order that you feel comfortable with. But 1, I would like it to be your favorite Christmas or holiday film. So let's do this. Let's get into it. Let's start with Mike Field.
Ooh.
Mike, you are going to start with your number 3. Let me ask you a question right off the bat before we start. You have 3 kids, obviously, your wife. You spend, obviously family is a big thing for you at Christmas time. Are any of your picks inspired by that, or are these just things that you love? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there something on yours that's like, well, me and my family watch this every year, so...
This first one is not just it's with my kids, but I've been watching it with my wife almost every year. That I really like, and maybe it's because I'm older and whatnot. Okay. So that's probably. But I think I told this story off air. We watched Gremlins the other day. That's not one of my picks, and I had my middle child like, hey, let's watch it. And she was on her phone the entire time. And I said to my wife later, I'm like, I behaved because I really wanted to say something. And I really wanted to be like, what are you doing? Let's watch the movie. But she was, she's 15. She's moody. I don't want to get yelled at. So I was just like, I let it go. But it really bugged me.
Yeah.
Really bugged me. But I watched it. I watched Gremlins all the way through.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm surprised. I guess that's kind of a surprise too, because I would think if you were to throw in a Christmassy movie to get even a 15-year-old into it, that might be an easier choice.
Yeah. She's a big fan of Stranger Things. I mean, which, I think, that Gremlins obviously came out in the 80s, so I figured that's a good, and she likes like little horror stuff. She likes the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. So I figured, Gremlins is a perfect, she won't get scared and she'll be into it.
I hope Stranger Things season 5 or whatever, when it comes out, has a Gremlins reference, and your daughter's like, I don't get that. And then you look at her and you go, well, if you fucking paid attention Christmas 2024, when me, you, and your mother watched it, you would understand that fucking reference, but I'm not going to explain it to you. And then you just drink a fifth of fucking Jack Daniels and pass out. What's your number 3, Mike?
Jeez.
I'm going to actually go with The Family Stone. I don't know if you guys have seen this film.
Never seen
so
it.
this is with Sarah Jessica Parker. Craig T. Nelson plays the dad. Rachel McAdams is one of the kids in it. It's Luke Wilson. Who else is in this film that I'm blanking on? Dermot Mulroney. There's a ton of people in this. Claire Danes. It's like a family-oriented film. They're spending one Christmas together. The mother is sick. The mother, you find out that she has cancer during this, and it's just kind of like about relationships. And it's just, I don't know. I watched this film in the theater with my wife, and I remember it because it's one of those movie moments where there was an old lady at the end of the movie. Something happens, and this old lady behind me like says it out loud. Oh, they're doing that. I'm like, yeah, we see. Like it's like one of those. But we watch it every year, and I really like it. I think it's really sentimental, and I get teary eyed, and I think it's because I'm older and because of the family. But it's just it's nice to think about. I wish those Christmases are going to be like when I get older, but probably not. But we really enjoy it. It's really fun. So I say The Family Stone, number 3.
Right. Are you typically a movie crier?
It depends. Not all the time.
Yeah.
But it's when I wasn't before, and then when you have kids, you just cry at everything. You're like everything gets you. Yeah. The commercial gets you teary eye especially when they're really young. But no, I mean I'll get teary eyed. I won't bawl my eyes out, but I'll get teary eyed at movies.
In all the movies we've watched together, I've only seen you get teary eyed in one movie.
Which one?
3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
When he has that last day with his family.
Yeah.
When he has that letter.
Sometimes
it's the only one I've ever seen.
Sometimes when we're talking about the movie in the podcast, I can feel myself crying. And like, stop, don't cry, don't show Butler emotion.
Okay, all right. Butler, are you a movie crier?
Oh yeah. I wasn't when I was a teenager.
Frank
I'm not that
and
old.
Weenie.
Now if it's a dog, I'm crying. And now I've said it on the podcast a few times. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I can't stand anything when stuff happens to kids.
Yeah,
I cry. Like at the end of Benjamin Button, Elise and I watched it. I think it came out when we were in senior year of college.
That's a tough end.
When he died, spoiler alert, when he dies at the end of Benjamin Button as a baby, I had to let the credits go because all these old people are just walking up going, oh, that was a great movie, blah, blah, blah. And Elise and I are probably the youngest people by miles in there. And I'm like, she's like, all right, let's go. I can't go. I was like, I don't want to go out looking like this. I'm like bawling because the baby died. I'm like, no, I can't watch this.
I've got to redo my makeup.
So basically,
tough ending.
So stuff like that, dogs, kids, obviously other stuff as well now. But yeah, I've become a big movie crier now.
Okay, I've always been one. So yeah.
You and I
didn't used to, but
both
now.
criers.
We're both criers.
So like what? Like Hoosiers?
No.
Man, I credit Hoosiers.
Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Very fucking hard to watch.
Did I earn it?
No, it's not even that. It's just like when
Giovanni Ribisi dies.
When Giovanni Ribisi dies,
my buddy can't watch that scene. Yeah,
horrifying. It's horrifying. When Mellish dies, that scene is so uncomfortable.
Oh, the knife.
The knife.
Yep.
Like you literally want to reach in.
No, please don't.
You don't have to. When he says you don't have to do this.
Yep.
Like it's.
I don't cry, but my heart just breaks.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that movie.
Mickey Mouse.
Although I mean, I'm not saying did I, am I a good man? That does make me cry, but it's a lot of the stuff on the inside. Wall-E.
Yep.
Wall-E.
Yeah, I know you cry.
Fucks me hard.
Fucks you hard.
Really? Okay.
So does Up. Like
Up.
The first,
the
first
The
little
whole
10 minutes.
movie of Up. The beginning, the first 10 minutes,
The
and then the
movie's not
end when
great.
he finds the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
When he finds the book with her note that says "Keep going."
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like that gets me every time. It's like, oh yeah, keep going, man.
Pixar does a good job.
Yeah.
My crying things are
And the end
like,
of Toy Story 3 when they all hold hands and they're about to die and they're okay with it.
See, I like
Yeah,
the ending. I like
damn.
the end of Monsters Inc. when he comes back and the doors open.
Oh, and she's like,
yeah.
When the door opens and she says "Kitty."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that fucking creamed me in the movie theaters. Yeah.
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 No, my crying scenes are more like in Interstellar when he sees his daughter and, what is it? She's older.
Oh, when he's watching all
That
the
kind
updates.
of stuff really gets me.
I knew you'd come back. Why? My father told me.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then things like Captain, My Captain and Dead Poets, which I know you haven't seen.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
kind of
really?
stuff. Like really emotional.
So far, 3 of the movies you've
nostalgic
mentioned.
sort of.
I haven't seen Benjamin Button, which is fine. I don't think I live of the life of if it's over 3 years old, you're not spoiling anything for me. I'm not an asshole.
I mean, that's the point of the movie is like he's aging backwards.
You know
So you
that
kind of realize you
immediately.
follow his whole life. Yeah.
I own it on Blu-ray. I've purposely never watched Toy Story 3.
Oh,
Because
really?
everybody tells me the ending is crippling, and I'm never in the mood to be crippled.
They're all holding hands.
I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's the perfect trilogy, so you're missing out on the end of the perfect trilogy.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
know.
But
It
yes, the end is tough to watch.
I'm never in the mood to be punched in the stomach and thrown down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
The other one,
Dead Poets.
I've never seen Dead Poets either. So none of those 3. But yeah, Toy Story 3, I just stay away from because there's never been anybody that's been like, it's a great movie, blah blah blah, and everybody just goes, oh, and then the end, they're all in a pit about to burn.
The rest of the movie's really good and funny.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, maybe I'll just watch the first 2 hour and 40 minutes.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is how it ended. All right.
All right.
Like in The Simpsons, when there's a chapter 1 to Finding Nemo.
All right, Butler, what's your number 3 favorite holiday / Christmas
My
movie?
number 3 would probably have to be Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Growing up, I was obsessed with this movie. I actually, when it came out, I think it was 5. My dad took me to the theater to watch it. And because I was like, I gotta watch it. My mom didn't want to watch it. My brother was way too little. And so my dad was like, oh, fine, I guess I'm taking this as a kid to watch the movie. Paid, we watched the matinee. The opening sequence, This Is Halloween. I was scared shitless by one of the creatures. I still can't remember which creature. I went back. I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was like, we're watching this movie. I paid money for this movie. Let's watch the movie. 5 minutes later, I go back in, and I loved this movie. I wrote like a play for my first grade class. Like, hey, we're gonna do this. I recorded the soundtrack. I'm like I was a weird little kid. I was always like the actor.
That is pure love.
Yeah. Like I loved this movie, and then I hated it when goth kids co-opted it for their Hot Topic bullshit. And I was like, fuck this movie. God damn it, they're ruining it for me. It's a good movie, and now it's like
This was
commercial for goth kids. Basically, yeah.
But
and now it's goth kids going, nah, it's cool because it's dark, and it's like no. It's so but I love the style. I love the music. I love the message. I love how it blends Halloween and Christmas. And I love that it's a classic example of Tim Burton. And we've talked about this on our podcast before. It's like everyone thinks Tim Burton's a horror movie director, or like he does horror stuff, but it's like Sleepy Hollow is the only horror movie he's ever made.
Right.
And like so much of the stuff is nice and hopeful.
Well, remember,
and it's
he's only the producer on this thing. He did not
right,
direct
exactly.
it.
This isn't his movie, although he wrote it in college.
Right.
He didn't direct this. But yeah, it's so nice, and the songs are so catchy. And like we talked about in our last Evil Dead episode, or Army of Darkness episode, you can't beat an hour 20 runtime.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love it. Like, it's just, and you can watch it Christmas, or you can watch it around Thanksgiving and be like the perfect in between. Like, let's segue into Christmas.
Would you ever push it to like a Halloween viewing?
We watched it this year on Halloween because Elise thinks it's a Halloween movie.
Right.
So it's like, all right, we can watch it on Halloween. So we watched that and Evil Dead 2 on Halloween.
All right.
But I think it's an in between movie. I think it's more of a Christmas movie because it's about
Elise is wrong.
about Christmas.
Elise is wrong.
It's takes place in Halloween Town, so she's right. But so much everything about that movie.
She's not here. You don't have to agree with her.
That's true.
She might hear this. I agree with her. She might hear
I
this.
talked about it when I said we have to get 3 Christmas movies. And then you can pick Nightmare. She's like, it's a Halloween movie. I go, well, you're wrong because it's a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Lay the law down.
All right.
And then she locked me out of the house.
I was going to say someone's sleeping
I've been living out in my
on your
car.
couch.
On the couch.
On your couch.
I'll just be parked out front, Lloyd.
That's
You're
all
okay with that,
No,
right?
You can come in. You can stay on the couch.
I got a tooth. Can I use your sink for my toothbrush? I just got to brush my
Yeah,
teeth.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't pee in the sink.
No promises.
All right. Well, then you're outside.
He did.
That's fair.
He did suggest that to Field earlier. Field got to go to the bathroom after the first episode recorded.
I used the appropriate.
No, you did
used the bathroom
but
sink.
Butler was like, use the kitchen sink, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot for the first time over someone's house. But hey,
You got to establish dominance quickly,
there you go. I've
or
heard.
they'll walk all over you, John.
Yeah. Manster, what is your number 3?
All right. I want to do a little caveat before we get going here. We decided to do this, 2 days ago?
Yeah, real quick.
So, if you know anything about me, if I haven't seen a movie recently, I'm not going to remember a lot of
But
details.
a favorite shouldn't be something you had to have seen recently.
No, so you're right. So I wrote down 6 movies, and I'm going to pick 3 out of those, and then the other 3 are going to be my honorable mentions. So my number 3 is going to be Scrooged.
Scrooged, okay.
Scrooged.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Bill Murray, 1988, based on basically, Charles Dickens, what do you call it?
A Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol. Yeah, so Bill Murray, he plays this selfish TV executive, and he's an asshole. He's a total asshole, and then, he's visited by ghosts. He's got Buster Poindexter, also known as David Johansen, Karen Allen, John Forsythe, Bobcat Goldthwait, Carol Kane, a lot of people. And basically he, throughout the course of the movie, you know the story, he gets better. He regains his Christmas spirit.
He's taught a lesson.
It's got a lot of good, I think, effects in it, and it's just one of those. I love watching when it's on. I will keep it on and watch it.
I haven't seen that in a while, but isn't that the one where one of the ghosts has like the dry eye sockets, right? Like, is it the John Forsythe? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like the makeup is like he doesn't have eyes. Am I correct on that?
No,
he's like a corpse.
No, isn't Forsyth the guy who owns the station?
Oh, okay. But am I wrong, or is that another movie?
You're talking about when he opens up, when the last one, he opens up his robe and he's got the 3 dudes inside of him?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
The 3 puppets or whatever it is.
I was saying, I haven't watched it. It's just on my list.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't remember all
I'm
the
just
details.
saying it's a favorite film.
John, I think John Forsythe owns the company because he's the one that calls to tell him to get it off the air because he's at the end when he's flipping out, he's going, hey, you say that. And he kicks the cats because he's got a bunch of cats in his, I believe that's Forsythe. Right?
All right.
I think you're right.
Fun movie.
Yeah.
Not super fun, but it's a good movie.
That's fun.
I really
Yeah,
enjoy it.
it's fun. It's good performances. I love, David Johansen as the cab driver.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, my number 3, here's where I just go basic as fuck. It's A Christmas Story. Look, it's a movie that bombed out of the box office in 1983 and then somehow was resurrected as like a fucking Christmas Goliath in probably the late 90s or early 2000s via TNT or Turner or whatever.
Bought it cheap and they put it everywhere.
Bought it cheap, put it everywhere.
Who's in that?
Peter Billingsley, Darren McGavin. I can't remember the woman who plays the mom, but she was also in Close Encounters.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Melinda
the one with
Dillon.
the leg lamp.
Yes,
right?
the leg lamp. Yeah, so it's a story. Fragile. It's the story of Ralphie growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, in the 40s, and his entire life revolves around the fact that he wants to, for Christmas, get a Red Ryder BB gun.
You'll shoot your eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out. Everybody in his life is telling him it's a bad thing. And it's the whole movie is, if you really watch it and think about it and think about, like, if you've ever talked to somebody about the movie, it's all vignettes of the movie, right? It's like, the scene where, the flashback, or not the flashback, the fantasy scene where he's like, fighting Black Bart, and then him swearing when his father's changing the tire.
But I didn't say fudge.
Yes, I didn't
I
say
said
that.
the mother of all bad words.
Yes. The end, when they go to the Chinese restaurant, the fucking goddamn bumpuses and their dogs. It's like and like you said, the leg, like, it's fragile, it's Italian. It's just like this kind of perfect storm of being a coming of age story, a childhood story. It's excellent. I generally will make it a point, like, if on Christmas opening gifts or something like that, it's on in the background. Again, I don't have to watch it every year. I will say this too. 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, there was a direct to Max sequel to it.
Yeah.
That was actually fucking good.
I was just going to ask, did you watch the sequel?
Yes.
With him?
Yes. Did you see it?
No.
Honestly, I watched it. It was good. It was Ralphie grown up.
Yeah.
He lives outside of Ohio with his wife and kids. He's a writer who had one book that did well, but he's just failed afterwards. And he goes back to his hometown. His father's been dead. His mother is still alive, but played by the woman from Airplane, who's Julie Haggerty.
Yes.
Oh,
Right, because Melinda Dillon died.
Yes.
And it's about him going back and kind of relearning the spirit of Christmas. It was actually really, really well done. It's not a great movie, but it was really well done. So yeah, I'm going to go with A Christmas Story.
Story.
And
See,
if you don't know how to see it, just turn on TBS.
I'm not really a fan of that movie because I've probably only seen it once. When did it come out?
83.
83?
Yeah, when you were 29.
Lo was too cool
No,
for
I
that
wasn't
shit.
29, but
Lloyd was getting laid.
it's just a movie I've literally seen once, and it doesn't stick in my head. But I know most people absolutely love this.
I think
movie.
if you sat down this Christmas season and watched it, I think at the very least you would say that was well worth my
I should give
time.
it a shot. Yeah.
Did you see 8-Bit Christmas?
Sucked. Yes.
That's very similar to that.
Yeah,
though.
I know, but I did not like. I wanted to like that. Steve Zahn was in it, and I generally like Neil Patrick Harris. I did not like that movie.
Huh.
Yeah. All right, Field. What's your number 2?
I'm going to go with The Ref. We did this episode. We did The Ref on our show a couple seasons ago, a while ago. Dennis Leary, Kevin Spacey. It's funny. It's so acerbic and funny and mean. And I love when, what's his face? Dennis Leary just starts yelling at the family and just starts berating them because they're just because they're berating the Kevin Spacey character because he's the father, he's the son, the mother just yells at him constantly, and it's basically Dennis Leary is on the run. He steals a diamond that he gets caught, and then he kidnaps his family on their Christmas Eve dinner, trying to escape this town because everyone's looking for him. But it's I think it's really funny. I know me and Butler both loved it.
That was really good.
Yeah, so I really like the Ref. I guess I like these mean movies. So yeah, I'm gonna say Ref number 2.
All right. I saw it in the theaters when it came out, and I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that I first watched it and I liked it, but then when I watched it again, I kind of grew a better appreciation for it.
I probably would be the same way. I saw it very young. I always remembered there's always one scene that even after seeing it twice, maybe in the theaters years ago, that I always remember is when he takes the cookie and bites the head off, and he's like, Jesus. Because it's like a manger cookie set.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always remember that, but
I've never seen the Ref.
it's Dennis Leary right in that 7-minute window when Dennis Leary was like a leading movie guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When there was a couple films, they would Sandlot and they threw him in different things, Demolition Man, and the Ref was like this is the one where you're going to be the star.
Yeah.
And it's Kevin Spacey and who was the woman?
Annette Bening.
No,
she's
it's Jane. It's
Joan.
Yeah,
not Alan.
no, she's an indie. She does a lot of indies.
Yeah, she did a lot of indies. We'll let him look that up. We'll go over to Butler for Butler's number 2.
My number 2 is pretty basic for a millennial. It's Home Alone.
Okay.
I love Home Alone. I think there's so much about it that's great. The dialogue is great. It's got so many one-liners. Joe Pesci is so funny in it. Kind of separating himself. He's definitely, it's like Joe Pesci, like you don't usually see him that bumbling and dumb. I think Macaulay Culkin does a great job not being a precocious kid, but not being annoying. Because as we know in the podcast, or Forgotten Cinema, if you ever see our podcast, I hate precocious kids.
In real life.
I hate precocious high schoolers in real life and in movies. They don't exist, the kind of kids that you see
Right.
in these movies. And for some reason, Kevin McAllister is a good combination of being a real kid and still being a little too precocious. Obviously the family's super rich, which you don't realize till you're older. Like, how do they have this size house?
Did you see that a year or two ago, they came out with a Lego set for the house?
I did see that because I wanted it.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so much good stuff about it. Like, John Williams' score obviously is always going to win me over. And I just think it's so memorable, so watchable. And I know it's a movie that growing up I watched every year without fail. And I love that movie. And I think every year you watch it, you can still, the fact that you can watch it every year and it's still not just an annoyance you put on TV, makes it a classic.
Home Alone came out when I was about 14 years old. I saw it a few times in the first couple of years that had come out, and I liked it then. I had not seen it in years. Maybe about 5 years ago, on Christmas morning, I tossed it on to be like the movie that was on like in the background of us doing like gifts and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I ended up paying attention to it. It's a really good movie. It's a really good Christmas movie. And too late to tell you, but you probably already saw this. Today is what? Tuesday? Tuesday. Saturday night at the Oakdale in Wallingford.
Oh, he did Macaulay Culkin did a screening of it.
They did a screening, and then he did a Q&A afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, he's touring the country doing that.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 2 kids now, so now he's got to get that money back.
Name of the actress?
Judy Davis.
Judy Davis. All right. She did a biopic of some sort, I remember. I know. I'll tell you right now, she played, I think, Judy Garland or something.
I think so.
Way back in the day. All right, you look that up. I'm going to the Manster for his number 2.
All right, my number 2 is going to be a fun-ass movie. I don't know if you guys all like this one. It is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. I've never heard of it.
Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and of course you have a whole new cast of children.
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis as Audrey, and then Johnny Galecki as Rusty. So weird that they went with different actors for every movie. They did that
for every movie.
Yeah, it's so fun. You know, it's just the family getting together. You got Doris Roberts, you got Randy Quaid, you got that old guy with the toupee. It's so fun. There's so many things in it. You know, he's got this mission to make his family enjoy Christmas. He's got the lights. They got the sledding scene with the fucking lithium grease.
The old school Walmart.
Yeah. You've got the family going to get the Christmas tree. I mean, who doesn't go get a Christmas? I don't know if y'all have cut down your own Christmas trees.
I'm all artificial.
I have. Yeah. I'm 49.
Yeah.
I don't do Christmas trees anymore. I have never had a real tree in my life.
Okay.
Ever. I grew up in
Wow.
apartments. We had fake trees.
There's a real one right there.
Yeah, I've never had a real tree.
It's just got so many iconic and fun scenes. I love it. The cat blowing up the Christmas tree, the old guy with the wig and the cigar,
yeah.
That stove.
the lights that you can see from outer space. It's just so fun. You
The
got
yuppie neighbors.
Elaine Bennis living next door. Yeah, it's such a fun movie. Again, anytime this is on, I watch it. I'll sit there and watch it and just laugh. And
Shitter's full.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
Especially when at the end he's like totally expecting like a nice big bonus so he could build his pool, and he gets like the Jelly of the Month club.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Brian Doyle Murray.
That it is. You know, this is the biggest bag of the head kick in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun movie. I love this one.
I saw that in the theaters with my dad when it came out, and then I never saw it again. And even in the ensuing years, like 20 years, when it was really building steam and people, I always loved National Lampoon's Vacation, and I actually loved European Vacation as well.
Porker.
Those were his dad. He's
gonna porker, Dad.
He's gonna porker.
No, he's not gonna
porker.
porker.
No, he might porker.
Yeah, I think he might.
So I love those two movies, and then the Christmas one was just kind of one that like everybody always made noise about. And maybe 6 or 7 years ago, they showed it at like the AMC Plainville Theater, and I went and saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this is a fucking good movie.
It's a fun ass, funny movie.
It hit me late. It hit me late. All right. My number 2 is a funny story because it's coincidentally playing on the TV right now. Yeah, no, it's look, let me explain something, okay? Let me listen, let me not bring the room down. But I asked you about the family thing. My number 1 and my number 2 were movies that me and my wife watched every year.
Respect.
Okay, so and I the number 1 I think is a genuinely great movie, and we watched that every year for like 10 or 11 years. And then somehow the number 2 popped into the rotation and kind of took over.
Wow.
Jingle All the Way.
Yep.
150% a garbage movie, but it has a little bit of that like nostalgia for me. It also is, I think, it's like a time capsule of a movie. It's a mid-90s family movie. They don't make these movies anymore. Think of like Little Giants and like maybe like there's movies of that ilk that like just were like these kind of like harmless like comedies.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger in his later career, kind of trying to, shift into the, Kindergarten Cop, Twins. He had moved a little bit that way. Here he is 5 or so years after Terminator 2, and he's trying to really kind of branch out into that. This movie, if you ever read about the production of it, they made this movie like fucking quick. It got greenlit and made in like months as opposed to and released in the same year. So there's some interesting production stuff going on here as well. He plays Minnesotan Howard Lang, I think, who has an Austrian accent. He works for, I think, a betting company, and story ripped out of headlines. He has to get his kid the hottest toy in the world.
Right.
Tickle Me Elmo, all that stuff. Except in this, it's Turbo
Cabbage
Man.
Patch Kids.
Yeah, it's Turbo Man, and he says Turbo Man 96 times in the movie, and it becomes a.
It's got Jake Lloyd.
Jake
Is he
Lloyd,
in it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the son.
is the son, yeah, who ended up playing
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then, again, to solidify the fact that this is like a 90s family comedy, Sinbad is in it as well as a kind of murderous postman who goes against him trying to find the last,
accidentally murderous. He didn't know there was a bomb in there.
He didn't know there was really a bomb in there.
Those cops didn't die.
But again, a movie that I watched with my wife a lot, and then slowly kind of became like a favorite of mine, where I actually enjoyed watching it quite a bit. It's like my Letterboxd. I only started like really keeping my Letterboxd from like 2020 on. But if you went before that, this was easily the movie I watched if I didn't watch another movie every year, this is the movie I've seen the most in like the last 15 years.
Wow. Because
I watched it every year for like 10 years or so. Oh, and not to mention one of the last appearances and great performances by fucking Phil Hartman as the smarmy neighbor who's just trying to fuck all the neighborhood women, including Howard's wife. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie. So number 2 for me is Jingle All the Way.
John, on behalf of all millennials, You're not wrong about liking Jingle All the Way, all right?
All right. Because I
It's
do.
a millennial classic. We all love it.
Let me put it this way.
It's not your number one.
It's not my number one. It would be on my list, but it's not my number
It
one.
grew on me because I can tell you that when I saw this probably in 1996 or 7 when it came out, like on video or whatever, I was like, "Fuck this movie!" Like it's
That old?
It's old, yeah. And then like upon multiple viewings, and and Schwarzenegger, he's not phoning this in. He's really into
Oh,
it.
he's putting some work in.
He's
Yeah,
putting some work in. So, Jingle All the Way. Okay, Mike, we're getting to you. What is your numero uno? What's your number one?
Well, I was going to go Scrooge, but Lloyd said it, so I'm not going to say Scrooge. And I was going to go Christmas Vacation, but Lloyd said it, so I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to go is I'm going to say It's a Wonderful Life. I used to watch that when I was younger all the time. My parents, I didn't realize how long it was. It's like 2.5.
I watched it last night.
Yeah, it's long. But it's one that I wouldn't necessarily say I put it in all the time and watch it, but if it's on, I'll leave it on.
I've never seen it.
Anyways, you know what, John? It's. I really like. There's a lot of memorable scenes. I love the scene when they're dancing in the pool's opening up, the gymnasium's opening up.
such a great scene.
And Jimmy Stewart's not.
Then they fall in.
Yeah, he doesn't
everyone
realize.
just jumps
You're
in
right.
after.
Yep. I'm a big Jimmy Stewart guy, and I think he gets, especially like his later stuff when he starts doing more serious stuff. You kind of see the chops, but like I think he was overlooked in this film, underrated a little bit by a lot of people. I think it's a classic holiday film. It's obviously older film, black and white, directed by Frank Capra, who I like as well. So.
They did a colorized version
They
of it
did
back in the 80s.
Yeah, but that doesn't look good.
No, it sucks.
no. I even like it so much that a lot of times every year I'll even watch the SNL skit where they tell you the real ending to It's a Wonderful
I
Life.
haven't seen that, yeah.
Which is hilarious. So I'll even watch that every year just because I really love that. But no, it's obviously a classic. It's a no-brainer that I say that. So, but I think it needs to be said, and I think that's one that I don't even know if my kids will watch it if I show it to them. They probably won't. Nice. I'm glad I stole it from you. So yeah, so that's my number one.
All right. Do you watch it every year? Or?
Yeah, like I said when you were on your phone, if it
I did. Wait a minute. I went on my phone once on 2 episodes, so fuck off.
I'm just giving you shit. I might not put it on, but if it's on, I won't turn it off.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All
Yeah. That's it. I'm good, Mike. All you.
My number one was originally Christmas Vacation, but Lloyd took Christmas Vacation.
There's no taking by the way.
It's
Multiple
okay.
people
We
got
like to be
favorites.
different. We like to be different.
Okay. All right.
So my number one, which would have been like my fourth runner-up, which would pretty much be tied within there, would be Muppets Christmas Vacation.
I'm surprised.
Or not Christmas
I'm
Vacation,
surprised that's not
Muppets
your number
Christmas
one.
Carol.
I'm surprised.
I watch it every year. I love that movie. I think, obviously, I'm a huge fan of the Muppets. Field knows that. I love the Muppets.
You baby.
I think that the film itself is just elevated by the fact that Michael Caine doesn't realize he's in a Muppet movie.
Oh, he doesn't care that they're Muppets.
He does not. He plays it dead straight, which is what he told Jim Henson when he's going to do this movie. If I'm going to do it,
He didn't tell Jim Henson anything. Jim Henson was fucking dead.
He told Brian Henson.
Damn.
If I'm going to do this movie, I'm going to do it like it's a regular stage play. And they're like, that's what we want. And I think that works so well. I think it's fantastic. I think you have to watch the director's cut that adds the extra scene with Scrooge and the woman that he loved that he leaves for his job.
Right.
Because it makes it extra sad. And they play that song at the end, which doesn't make any sense when you don't have the scene that was cut where it originally plays.
Right.
But the whole movie is just so good, so well done. You care for the characters. It's got comedy. It's got heart. It's got a decent runtime as well. It's short. So it's another one that's great to put on Christmas because you can watch it while you're unwrapping presents or watch it right afterward and then you have lunch or whatever, go to your grandparents' house or whatever. It's just, I think, a perfect family Christmas film. And it's like the last, until the Jason Segel film, it's the last great Muppets film, I think.
That's not the last one, though.
Oh, no.
Right.
Then they did like a couple others. They did the one where Gonzo finds his family in space. They did
Treasure Island,
which is okay. It's not as good. But that's the last of, I think, the great ones, like Muppet, the great Muppet Caper, and Muppets Take Manhattan.
Manster?
Yeah.
What do you have for number one?
Well, when Mike said his number one, I turned my screen around and showed him that was my number one. But I'm going to choose a different number one.
Yeah, Lloyd. Yeah, changing the game on you, John.
Only because I was going to defer that to my honorable mentions. I will say right here, right now, I think It's a Wonderful Life is the best film of all the films that we talked about, and it deserves to be number one. It's a great movie. If I'm going to rewatch a movie, it's going to be Elf. Elf is my number one. I like Elf from 2003, directed by Jon Favreau. Stars Will Ferrell as Buddy. He's basically a human raised to be an elf by Santa, and he goes to New York City to find his real dad, who's James Caan. And it's just so fun. It's just the, what's the word I'm looking for? The charisma by Will Ferrell in this movie is fantastic. It's priceless. It's just so much fun. There's so many scenes that are fun.
It's a star-making movie for him.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
You got Zoe Deschanel and the shower scene where she's singing and he's in there and he's singing. You got Mary Steenburgen, Ed Asner, Bob Newhart as Santa, and I don't know. Elf
Peter
is
Dinklage.
Really good. If I'm going to watch a movie, if I'm going to put a movie on just to watch, it's going to be Elf over all the other ones.
Now, I mentioned this before. Did you see Spirited, the Apple movie with him and Ryan Reynolds?
I did not.
So there's a scene in there where, because it's basically a Scrooged. They basically, Will Ferrell plays like it's this team of people that do these Scrooged for one person every year.
Yeah.
So they're doing it to Ryan Reynolds, but so he's at a party and it's a dress up party. Someone's dressed as Elf, and Will Ferrell turns like, he looks so stupid. Like he just.
Was that like a big musical type?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually it's worth a watch.
I saw bits of it. I wasn't really fully paying attention, but it looked really good.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah. And Elf, we're not talking about budget and shit but for this, but this movie grossed $220 million.
Oh yeah, this is the movie that not only like made a star of Will Ferrell, but like gave Jon Favreau directing.
Right.
Credit.
This is a movie that's like a Christmas story for you, for a lot of people.
Yeah. I 100% get it.
Yeah,
I 100%
it's so
get it.
fun. I love it, and my kids love it, and then maybe that's part of it.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. There's things I like about it. I think about his what is the spaghetti and maple syrup?
When he's eating all that stuff, I'm like, no.
And then everybody's got to believe in Santa, and
because he's real.
What is it?
Park,
you sit on a throne of
lies.
The Central Park police are coming.
You smell
who's the drunken elf? I forget his name. Artie Lang.
Artie Lang is Santa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Faison Love is the store manager.
Don't believe him. It's not Santa.
Yeah. It's so fun. I love Elf.
All right. Well, I'm going to crash and burn because I'm not playing tight and loose with the rules because somebody already said my favorite.
Rules are made to be broken.
But my favorite is Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
150%. Me and my wife watch that every year. I'm a huge Muppets fan going back to being a little kid in the 70s.
Me too, John.
What's that? Yeah.
Me too, little kid.
No. I was going to say, you know what I love about Butler is before he was it's the perfect movie to open up your presents, have lunch, go to your grandparents. And I'm thinking to myself, our grandparents probably all died 20 plus years ago, but he's a young guy,
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for reminding us of that on Christmas. It is a wonderful movie. At this point, Jim Henson had passed, so this is his son's first real project. It's incredible. What Butler said, where Michael Caine is acting as if he's in a production of A Christmas Carol with live actors, and he's not. And it's got you want to talk about crying in some scenes, when you little Bob Cratchit and stuff with Kermit's son, and it starts to get pretty heavy. I mean, that's the story as well. The ghost stuff is all very cool. The
Marley and Marley.
Statler and Waldorf is Marley and Marley, and the chains they forged in life.
I thought for so long that there were two Marleys. When I read the actual Christmas Carol, I'm like, why are there only one every other time? There's supposed to be two Marleys. It's the Marley brothers.
It's only one originally, right?
Yeah, but because I grew up with them up, I was just like, they're cheaping out. Why can't they just get the whole full thing?
Yeah, I think it's the to-go version to watch of this story. I know people the George C. Scott. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure Patrick Stewart and TNT is great. I'm watching the Muppets every time.
Well, what about the Jim Carrey one where he's the animated?
Never saw that.
Yeah. I'm not vouching for it. I'm just curious.
Yeah. But no, it's a great movie. Great songs. No cheeses for the Mises. Just a lot of
This is my island in the sun.
my wife had it on the other day while she was rapping, and I'm like, "What's really wrong with Tiny Tim?" She's like, "He's poor."
Yeah. That's it. He's got one of those poor people coughs. But yeah, I think it's a great movie, so I'm going to go with that. Sentimental reasons, but it's a solid movie.
Is it a 5?
Yeah, it might be be a 5. It might be a 5. Well, because it does, like, you know, if you want to just get down to it, it does everything it has to do, and it does it pretty perfectly. So,
Sure.
You know, and the whole side quest of, like, Gonzo and Rizzo being the narrators, it's so fucking good. Lloyd already mentioned it, so I'll go around. Do you have any honorable mentions or the things that you want to watch? Actually, I want to qualify that question. Do any of you guys watch Christmas movies at any other time of the year? Because I will not. I won't watch them at any other time of the year.
Well, like I said, Nightmare Before Christmas will start on Halloween.
Right. But I'm saying, like, would you watch The Muppet Christmas Carol in April?
No,
because the algorithms won't let me. They're not out there. They're not around. But no.
Die Hard or Lethal Weapon.
If a movie's got Christmas in it, but it's not like a Christmas movie.
Die Hard, right?
I don't give a shit about whether Die Hard's a Christmas movie or not. It's a good movie. I'll watch it whenever I want to. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I don't. Not really. Not necessarily. I won't watch Christmas Vacation in the middle of the summer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it. No. So.
All right. What about an honorable mention or two?
Oh man, I know we're doing this. What other movies? Spirited I talked about a little bit. So I liked that. In terms of more recent ones, I just watched Nutcrackers with Ben Stiller on Hulu.
Okay.
Which was, I don't know if you've seen earlier David Gordon Green movies, like All the Real Girls and stuff like that. It's a lot like his earlier stuff, not like his Pineapple Express stuff. Not like.
I love Pineapple Express,
Halloween.
but I'm afraid of that name from Halloween. So.
I got you. I really like him as an indie director, so it's very indie. It's not like a typical Ben Stiller film. It's more. It's got a lot of heart to it. So that was pretty good. That was a new one I watched.
He needed that after that Exorcist movie because that was a pile of shit.
Ben Stiller?
No, David Gordon Green.
Oh yeah. That's right. I can't think of anything else. I'm like on the spot here.
Well, you were talking about The Holdovers.
Holdovers, I really like.
I want to see that. I have not seen that.
Holdovers is a really good film, but it takes place over Christmas break with Paul Giamatti. And he's got basically the kids that don't get picked up by the parents that don't have anywhere to go for the holiday. They're the holdovers. And there's just one kid that he kind of has to deal with. And Paul Giamatti's like cantankerous and he's upset and he doesn't want to do this, but it's almost like he warms up to the kid and he's got a really, really good line at the end of the film that I love that I don't want to ruin it for you. So
I really want to see that.
But The Holdovers is really good. And that's Alexander Payne, who I really like too.
Right.
So I think I guess the older I get, I think I look for more sentimentality in my Christmas movies or something like that, or more like realism instead of I don't know why I now gravitate towards those films. But yeah, I guess those are a couple.
Okay, I guess I got to add in Christmas Story like you had on your list because I used to watch it every year. With my mom. It's my mom's favorite Christmas movie. I'm not as big a fan as she is, but some of the lines and some of the one-liners, the way the movie works, you just quote it all the time.
Right.
But I really like Gremlins is a movie that I will always put on around Christmas, and that's a movie I'll also put on in the summertime if I feel like watching it. I love Gremlins.
Do you have to watch Gremlins too after you watch Gremlins?
No, I don't. I can't stand Gremlins 2. I hate Gremlins 2. Although I do really want to rewatch it because it's been a while, but because everyone on the internet's like, it's not as bad as you think. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it is, but I'll give it another try.
I don't think it's bad. I rewatched it a couple years ago. It is batshit fucking insane.
It's just really weird.
Yeah. It's literally like they gave him the money. They gave Joe Dante the money and said, okay, make another Gremlins, but we're not going to pay attention to anything you're doing. There's a Key and Peele sketch.
I saw the Key and Peele sketch, which is awesome.
It's awesome. We're going to have an electric gremlin. It's fucking nuts because that movie is just insanity.
It's no Small Soldiers.
Grandpa Monster. I love Small Soldiers.
I know.
And then I think a newer movie that I think I really like on Christmas that I've watched actually a couple of Christmases now is Krampus.
Yeah,
I think that's got the style of like Gremlins, of like an old school Christmas horror movie. And I think I love it. And I think it has great themes. And as we always talk about on Forgotten Cinema podcast, I love a movie with great themes that like hammer them home hard and yet still work within the concept of the movie. It's so good. Everything about that movie is really, really good and solid. So I would have to say Gremlins and Krampus.
And Red One.
Definitely. I've not seen it, but probably not.
Manster, I know you're the one. You're the one that said we're doing these honorable mentions. So what do you got?
Yeah. So, I already said It's a Wonderful Life. That was my number one, really. But so that's my first runner-up. Die Hard. I don't know. That just seems so.
It's fun.
Like guys our age.
Yeah. I will also agree with Field and say Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
Because Die Hard 2 takes place a year later and it's also Christmassy.
Yeah.
And I think they push the Christmas even harder on that one.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to go back and revisit A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen it once, and I've seen snippets of it here and there, but I've never really paid much attention. But I think I should go back and check
Watch
it out.
it this year.
Yeah.
We'll have no hard
watch
time
this
finding
year.
it, that's for sure.
That's why I like Black Christmas, but, you know.
The 74 version.
The original.
Yeah, 74.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't that come back out in theaters?
Yes. Yes. They are. I don't know if it's
Re-releasing
a
it?
Fathom event
Fathom
or
event?
whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, it is coming out, and I think
All right.
like this week or next week.
And what do you got for Ron?
Really not much. I would say Black Christmas. I had only seen it for the first time ever at one of Larry's shows years ago with you.
Yep. With some other movie that we both fell asleep.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah,
That
that's
movie
right.
sucks.
You guys fell asleep during that one?
Yep. Both
Did
of
you
us.
like
That's a classic.
Did you like the remake?
Hard sleep.
So I've seen the 2000s remake,
Yeah.
and I thought that was pretty good.
Right.
I've never seen that newest one that like pissed everybody. Like I guess the one that came out like a year or two ago.
Carrie Elwes.
I don't know if Carrie Elwes was in it, but I know that like everybody said it was like supposed to be like super hyper woke and everything. And
It's updated, but I guess. I don't
did you
know.
see it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It's a different film.
Okay.
It's not like the original at all. It's not like that creepiness. It's just a different, empowering film, basically. Yeah.
The original is hyper creepy. The killer with like the phone calls and stuff. That was so fucking good.
Yeah.
If I were to say a runner or another one, and it's also a horror movie, I saw it a couple of years ago and I was super impressed by it. It was a horror film called Better Watch Out about a teenage girl that has to babysit like a 10-year-old boy on Christmas Eve when his parents go out. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay.
I will suggest you watch this movie because I can't tell you what it's about because there's a twist in there.
Better watch out.
Better watch out.
Better
it
not
came
cry.
out maybe 2015 or something like that. And about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I caught it on Shudder, I think. But it's a very good movie. Nobody in it. Ken Marino might be the dad who's in the beginning and the end. Maybe. I feel like he was in it, but there's nobody in it that you're going to know. But it was quite a good like little horror thriller. So,
Do you remember Trapped in Paradise?
Oh, yeah.
With Nick Cage? I kind of like that one too.
4 lefts. It was we're going in a circle.
Yeah.
I took 4 lefts.
I love it. It's Dana Carvey.
Yeah, the Furpo brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't seen that.
I just
in a long
remembered
time.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, a case of another type of movie they just don't make anymore. That's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Or the Family Man. We did the Family Man.
Oh, I
Nick
love
Cage.
the family.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
never saw that. That's with Tia Leone.
Leone, Nick Cage.
It's kind of like he's like
It's almost a Christmas Carol.
yeah,
like.
it's like that. Don Cheadle plays an angel who basically, what is it? Like
Nick Cage saves him. Or no, Nick Cage gives him money. Like he's holding up a convenience store. Nick Cage goes, "You want money? I can help you out.
Yeah,
What do you need?
he
You want a job?"
intervenes.
Yeah, he intervenes. And it was a test. And he goes, "I'm going to get you what you want for Christmas most." And he wakes up and he's
Like he never left Tia Leone when he was younger. And
Oh,
they have
okay.
a
so instead of
family
being rich and
together.
powerful, he's a family man working a dead end job at a tire store.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right.
kind of like it's what's his face? Who's the director? That
Oh, we just did another movie by him too.
oh my god, we're so old.
Oh, McG. It's a McG movie.
No, not McG.
It's not McG.
Brett Ratner.
Brett Ratner.
Oh,
So it's one of
Jesus.
those douchebags.
Yeah,
Can't talk about it.
it's basically Brett Ratner doing It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah,
okay.
that's what it is.
All right. So check all those out. If you don't agree with us when we post this up, throw yours up there. We'll ask you over on Instagram. You can find us at the Pint Pop. Where can you find these guys, though, is the important part. So give the spiel.
First of all, quick shout out to Charlie Brown's Christmas. Even though it's like 25 minutes, I always watch it.
We're
every
over.
year,
We're
too.
done with the
I know.
Christmas.
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, write a like, subscribe,
slow
write a
down,
comment,
slow
do
down.
all that stuff that really helps the podcast out. If you want to help us further out, we have a Patreon. On Patreon, we have exclusive episodes. We have timed exclusive episodes. We have merch discounts. We have a Discord where you can talk movies with us. We have all that kind of good stuff. We also do now showing episodes along with our regular show of Forgotten Cinema, and this is with newer movies coming out. For Christmas, we have actually to go on your guys' horror movie tangent. We're doing Nosferatu.
That's a Christmas film.
That's a Christmas
Christmas
film.
movie.
It's cold. It's dark. It's creepy. I hear the vampires love Christmas time. So we're going to be doing that, and we're doing a lead-up episode to that on our Patreon for Shout at the Vampire with Willem Dafoe. So that's our month of December, so check that out. And we have a bunch of really cool movies planned for 2025 already. We're knee-deep into recording in 2025. I think we're approaching St. Patrick's Day in our recordings. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, Master, happy Christmas. Merry Christmas, as the British people say. Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah,
Yeah,
Happy
Hanukkah. To everybody out there.
Everything else, Festivus.
Festivus with the rest.
That's
of us.
right.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to The Pint, and thank you for listening to Forgotten Cinema. Throughout 2024 or 2025 should bring some more fun stuff. We're going to continue our forgotten sequels that was forgotten about for a while, but we'll move forward with that.
Zing.
And thank you guys, by the way, for coming on and doing the last 2 episodes of the year. Thank you for closing out the Pint business.
Oh,
Yeah,
It was our pleasure.
Thank you for having us. We enjoy. It's a fun time.
All right, Master, say the words.
See ya.
Merry Christmas to all.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!